Howdy, it's a sports news review. I'm just making a channel just for fun. It's mostly for myself, and most of the time I'll just play with the organ, little tiny organ here, just for fun. But it's just going to be for fun, just everything's for fun, and playing with it. Just even the sounds are fun. That's probably most of the time. When I play it back, I'll have this in the background. And then what I'll do too is probably find a way to just kind of make something like to give it something to look at. Just put like a just kind of make this give something to screen. This so it doesn't get. I'm like wondering if it gets pixelated if you don't change it. I think my voice is probably going to sound awful right now. Learn I have to learn everything. Steady tempo. The reason the setup is like this because I can't sit on a chair for a very long time. It just hurts. Like it's I spend most of my day lying down in bed, and well, this is just for therapeutic, fun. That's all it is. And I try my best to see what happens. I'm probably gonna just mostly just play it myself. If it gets really bad, sounds awful, looks awful. I'm probably just gonna put them on private and then just play it for myself. That's a good reason to be able to talk out loud and just therapeutically talk out loud, not sound like I'm talking to myself, but I actually am because no one's going to be watching this channel, which is totally fine with me. Never plan to get monetized. Never plan to look for subs. Just total fun. Now, like I said, this is the I tried that introduction fun. Like okay, that's that one. So I just tried to make up an introduction theme song. I don't know. It might not even come out on it. It's a really small thing called a Casio. I got it as free. I got it for free. It's worth $50 retail. So it does. I just feel like it has that Miami Vice sound to it. Like the keys are really small, and my fingers don't really fit between the keys. But anyways, like as far as this little stuffed toy, okay, I'm I'm not exactly sure what stores or where it was sold, but I know someone that has one um that kept as an original, and it's in really rough shape for some reason, right? And it's like that one would be like from 1973, and this one I found at a garage sale, and it was just something that was like, wait, I know someone personally that has one of these, and they had it since their childhood, and they've kept it. But this one was in pristine shape. It's even got the little thing on it, the tag that came with it. I just wish they would have the tag still on it, so I know was this a reproduction from the like. It's just hilarious. The red is like a nice red, like it's like a nice beautiful red. This green is hilarious. It's exactly what it's the same colors. If this is a reproduction, it's the same colors and the same everything's the same. The eyes, everything's the same from that 73. I don't know how and it's it must be old. Look at the strap on. There's no way they would sell that with the little bucket hole for the strap back. Like if you make this as a reproduction, there's no way they would allow this. This is probably small parts that could come out and choke and you get swallowed. You pull on pull on this cord long enough. The other person's they must have played with it a lot when they were a kid because the strap's missing on it, of course, and the like it's not in really good shape like this one. This one just made me laugh. It was only like $1 or something like that. And it was so fun to just kind of, like have something that somebody has from their childhood, and it's plus why I'm using them is because like when I grew up, there was this Disney movie, Gus the Pigskin Mule. Yeah, I wonder how it sounds when I say Gus the Pigskin Mule. Oh, that must sound awful. Uh, Learning cadence is going to be a big thing. So that was one of my favorite movies because we were actually watching this on a reel-to-reel projector in the gymnasium, the gym, as everybody would refer to, and all all the whoever how many grades I think it was shown twice in the day, like or twice or three times in the day, because it was how many grades would they will fit. I think it was like like grades 1 to 3 were watching it, and three to 6, and then 7 and 8. We go to gymnasium, and it was that old fashioned reel to reel. You know what I mean? Old fashioned reel to reel projector, and Gus the Pigskin Mule was one of the movies we got to watch during school hours. It was a different time, of course, folks. It was just. I think it was just called Activity Day. If I could, like, everything's coming at me at once. The memories, eh? And uh, like we also watched a couple other movies. I can't remember which one, but of course I'm a football fan, and who knows if Buster Peaks Kill Mule got me loving football back in the '70s. Like uh, I don't know how old, what I can't remember. I'd have to know what year. See how I stuttered over there? That's not. That's how I just want to try to avoid. I don't know what year Gus is being. Sorry, I'll start over. I'm not going to edit either. That's another thing too. That's why I'm going to do live streams. I'm not going to edit. It's just I don't care. I just don't care about sounding professionally. I don't care about sounding like professionally, of course. And no, this guy's falling all over the place. Now, just out of curiosity, I'm wondering what year did Gus the Pigskin Mule come out, and whatever year that I was watching that movie, Gus the Pigskin Mule, in the gymnasium, could have really helped me get interested in football because football is number one with me. and and of course at the time, believe it or not, when I was watching football, it was past whenever this stuffed toy was probably old. Like I don't think they were '70s, but like this is like I know the person got this toy in 1973 when they were born, and the person I'm older than that person, and so I can't see this being reproduced again. Or maybe they just had a big run of these toys. I couldn't care less. It's just for fun, you know what I mean? And like I said, it's the closest thing I got. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a donkey, if anything, but I, I just that's the closest thing I got to a mule, and I'm not gonna go out and buy a stuffed mule. I got enough stuffed toys from way back in the day. Like I got if you're a fellow Canadian, you know that there was and a certain age. I got two of the munchies. I got the red one and the yellow munchie. I need the blue one. But I'm not gonna go look. I'm not gonna go buy it on eBay or anything like that. If I find it at a garage sale one day, I'll put those three together. They're just a good joke. It's just fun. Like to me, it's just a fun display thing to have. Where like there was a thing, like a thing, like there was something the munchies, and the connotation of the munchies is hilarious. But oh yeah, we want to see the other side of him. He's symmetrical, yeah, bro. Okay, so he's not in bad shape for. If this is like original from the early '70s, this is in really, really good shape. I mean, unbelievable shape. The tag is just fit. There is a tag. I never really realized it. Can I read it? Let's see. Uh, uh no idea. But like I said, just I just happened to have this thing, and I just wanted to use it just for maybe he's better on this side. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Change sides doesn't matter. I'm gonna fall over. I bet you can give this to nowadays. If I gave this to like a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old girl or a guy, who cares? But like just what do I could say? Hey, it's the original My Little Pony. Like, maybe it is supposed to. I guess it's either a donkey or a pony. So that whatever, whatever. But why harp on this? It's just because I said it was about Gus the Pigskin Mule. That's what got me probably started in watching football. Like more like notice, the movie's a farce, of course. The stipulation of the movie was that like the rule book never said that never described football player. So they came out one team that was struggling came out with this idea that let's put a mule out there because it can kick field goals. So every time fourth down, I guess they just kick the field goal from wherever. It's just the funniest. Oh yes, the owner of the mule was from Yugoslavia. It was a tongue in cheek, fun movie for its time. Something that just couldn't be made today, and I it's just fun, and of course it introduced me into real football. Like maybe I was watching football and I was but this just kind of helped me get into it more. Where especially when they had its tongue in cheek moments where one football player was jealous of the mule and he gets kicked there or something like that. It was all fun and games. Then again, but anyways, so this is the channel and see what happens from there, and just for fun. And if anybody comments on it, I'm just gonna I don't care if I get commented on like, hey, you were wrong about that. I'm cool with it. I'm totally cool with it. It's all about fun. I will admit my mistakes, of course. Predictions, of course. Predictions will definitely be there are a lot of mistakes. I would be having a professional studio if I was making really good predictions and winning on betting, because betting's legal in a lot of places now. So betting on sports teams is legal in a lot of places. So if I could really, I get close. I get close on this one thing that's like the pro picks and like where I'm from and legal government approved where they handled slips and the point spread, if it still exists. I've stopped doing it. I'm not sure, but NFL football was the best for point spread. Oh my! I mean, the point spread was made for football because you got everybody's playing practically on the same day except for Thursday, and Monday night, and it's just like that's everything's football. Like now, it's almost all year round football. But I called it Sports News Report. I don't even know if that's the name. This is so new. I don't even know the name of my own channel, to be honest, right now. That I call it Sports News Report or Report News. I don't know. I just picked a generic title for no apparent reason. Uh, I didn't, but like I said, mostly I'm an NFL kind of thing. I don't, I like college football. There's a lot of, for me, like watching football is more fun than watching any other sport because I just like football. And one of the things is I even watch like college football during the holidays when there's the bowl games. I love it. I get to watch a bowl game between two college teams I really don't get to see during the year and during the season, and they're playing on a Tuesday night and out west or something like that, or a Wednesday night out west. Oh, I'm in heaven with TV viewing. That's the main reason I would stay that cable TV is just to watch sports. I'm not a streamer. I'm a plug and play. I just don't want to be bothered with trying to find out how to get this and how to get that. You just get the basic cable and sports packages, and I'm good to go. You know what I mean? I'm really good to go. I'm missing the XFL because of I can't watch it. It's not on the key. They should. I'm totally shocked how it's not on just a regular cable, like a sports station, because they have so many of like the same station. Like one, they couldn't devote like your TSNs in Canada and the other one, the Sportsnet. You couldn't have devoted just one channel to the XFL. You would have had viewers. I mean, you're repeating the same program on the five other channels, which I'm totally lost on. Like, I just there are people out there like me that want to watch football at any cost. Just anything. We'll take anything at the moment until the NFL comes, which is fine. I because next is the USFL. I'm hoping they're more on TV. Like last year, I was able to watch it on cable TV, and I even watched the championship game, the USFL championship game. I love the whole concept where they play in one arena. I understand it probably saves on a lot of costs and visiting teams, or teams traveling, and the logistics and all that. Like you just cut all the logistics out of all the traveling expenses, which is probably what is going to be the majority of my guess. Like I remember, this is just my guess. Like the majority of all that could just of all the costs incurred for trying to run a USFL league would possibly be the logistics of traveling. Like all the equipment if they need, the players, coaches, the plane rides. Why you need all that if everyone's there to try to make the NFL? That's it. Like, what else is you there for? Like, they got the itch to still. There could be people that still got the itch to play football, but ultimately, you want to make the NFL, even if you don't even have a Hall of Fame career with Super Bowl wins. Well, some people, it's not about the big bucks. It's just like the itch of playing football, like being physically able to play football and still have a shot at making the big leagues. I could see why I want to play in the XFL, the USFL, if I was able to. Like if I was a 20-year-old or whatever, 22-year-old, or even a 25-year-old, it's still I could see myself at 25 years old in this day and age that if I'm not really in an employment where I really need to be there, and I could take some time off, and yeah, I'm going to the USFL, XFL. I know I risk a permanent injury. Like that's not going to be fun. Like let's just we forget it. Yes, for folks that like kind of poo poo the USFL, the XFL, these players potential if they're trying out for football teams in the NFL, they could be totally ruining their careers. They're not going to get like Odom Beckham style like doctors to like physicians, surgeons, I should say. Like who's going to be able to afford what Odell Beckham gets, like the Buffalo Bills player? What's his name again? Jesus, Von Miller. Yeah, like like just picking two, just players saying like same types of injuries where they're getting the best of the best, like and proven and you're if well, like what are you gonna get if you're the USFL player that or XFL player who's just trying to make a name for himself to get a video resume to show, hey, can you bring me to your training camp? Can I get invited to your training camp? And or can I try to make the practice squad. Like, a lot of people don't realize it because I seen it firsthand off a person that they, they have the itch to play football at any cost. Like, to even go to a university for no apparent reason just to play, just to be a walk on a university team. Uh, they were lucky to get a free scholarship for, like, I know this person was lucky to get a free scholarship, and so the intention, well, okay, I should take some of that back because the intention was to go into computer programming. They didn't go into, they switched fields later in life, but the person's main intention was to go into computers and actually, like, get into, like, whatever degrees to get into computer programming, or even like to, like, back in those days, you had the computer room. Like, not like today with the servers in the hallway. The modern buildings would actually make IT servers hallways, or in the hallway of a building. Like, there's the closet, and it's not, and there's the IT, there's all the servers. But in those days, there was the mainframe computer, literally, usually in the basement, and it would have the. I've seen it once, and it was 1986, and I was first, starting to get into full time work, and I just had a temporary fill in job, delivery service or something, like, and this they were some kind of logistics company for some, but I got a tour of the computer room downstairs. So I, like, in my day, it would have been like, yeah, that person would have to know how to keep these computers running, and they would probably have, like, those big giant, like, mainframes elsewhere in the building, and then they would be like, that's probably their servers back in the day. Like, I'm not a computer expert, but I just remember seeing the computer room, and it was encased in glass, and it had these nozzles that would come out in case of fire. They didn't. When you never use water, of course, they would just use a gas. I forget. I'm gonna guess argon gas. I'm not 100% sure. I'll just throw it out there. That I could be totally wrong and fall on my face on this one, or as they say, face plant. But I think it was argon gas. Anyways, that was pumped in. Like, this is like 1986, okay, and this is all new to me. So, uh, like, this is all like, I got both eyes are just like this. Like, almost as big as this eye. You know what I mean? Just going, oh wow, like, just admire everything. Just like, and of course the typical, like, person that was running the show was, but I don't want to say I don't want to be mean words, but with the pocketbook, and back in the day, of course, that person, uh, that person's jewelry would be the Casio watch with the calculator on it. That was a big deal back then. The Casio watch with the calculator on it. That person's would want to wear that to, like, wedding receptions or whatever. That was, they would rather have that than, say, a Gucci. You know what I'm saying? Or it was back in the day, honestly, they would rather have that Casio watch with the calculator on it than, say, a Rolex back in the day. If there were this, just, I know Rolexes are more money, and you could sell it for more, but this just saying, like, that person would rather wear that watch because you know that was the times, and that was the person. They were like, not everybody is like money, 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 money. Correct? You know what I mean? There's the people. We all need. Let's face facts. There is a certain amount of money that we all need in life. Like, for me, I'd like to win exactly in a lottery what I need to live for the next 30 or 40 years or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I would be happy with that. Just basically, like, to be able to afford whatever, like by a lake shore or something like that, something. I like water, one of the Great Lakes I live by too. So, like be able to have a house not on the Great Lakes. There's the backyard, one of the, you know what I mean? Like, say if it's even Lake Huron, Lake Michigan. Oh man, you'd have to. They're just too expensive in this day and age. They're just like if it's close to a city, you're looking. You're better off being across the street. I learned this later on in life. You're better off being across the street from one of those things, those houses, and they might have. I think what it's called is deeded access to the beach, which would be perfect. That's a walk. You have the entitlement to walk. That's your personal sidewalk between a couple of cottages. But nowadays, they're not even cottages. They're now being torn down for full blown year round homes. But when those cottages were built, they were like cottages for people in bigger cities would go to their cottage, which would kind of be more secluded. But the world is getting more expanded, and people still want to be near a big city because there's people like me. Would I want to move out to, say, a state like Montana? No, the culture shock is too much. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. There is big cities. Do I watch NFL games live? I wish I could. I can't really watch NFL games live. So it's uh I I but at least I got a chance to just go on a whim. Maybe there's a chance that you find a group of people that can get one of those luxury suites with a chair that could be able, like, sit down and lie down, like a huge recliner. Well, what I'm getting at is like I I am near two teams, like NFL teams. Okay, with less than one is like a 25-minute drive, and I'm at an NFL stadium. Well, I'm at the city, but then another 15 minutes, so within 35 minutes. So I'm like a 35-minute drive to the NFL city. Okay, and then like I just would need a lot of money to to do this. Like to be able, I would need a van that has a day camping thing where I could lie down before the game, and walking to the game from the vehicle would be tough. Uh, just I guess the handicap parking would help, but that would. But then still, uh, I I would really need to be using a wheelchair to go to the stadium, and then be able then I'm stuck in that wheelchair for too long where it's gonna hurt. So uh it probably the looks I would get is like I must be faking it because I'm able to walk. Yeah, I'm able to walk, but I'm not able to walk for a very long time. It hurts the next day to walk. And like I did a tiny bit of walking the other day, and not very far. Just left like the just hardly anything. I can't even walk to the nearest corner store. That's how bad it is with me nowadays. And right now, my legs are hurting so bad, and I decided to just, I guess, a video log. I guess I need a video to start the channel up. Something to load, right? How much time am I in? 30 minutes. Wow, awesome. I just blew 30 minutes of my day. Like, when a person can only, like, lie down most of the day, this is like, I can't. I just can't believe how I. Like I said, oh, I listen to talk radio. Talk radio is behind me on the radio. On the radio, I leave on 24/7 on the sports station, and of course now in this day and age, it's so easy to listen to talk radio because you got your ESPN radio over the air. I'm not. I'm just a plug and play guy. I got one of my hobbies is listen back when I was younger was listening to I have an AM radio at night. Just I love catching obscure radio stations at night, and it's well like I back in my day like Larry King was like coast to coast before Coast to Coast AM existed with Art Bell. Larry King was everywhere on the radio, um, and sometimes there'd be local talk shows on the radio. Oh, just hearing that, like when the commercials came on, and it was like they're something you could tell where they're from. They're the radio stations, like say in Tennessee, and I'm just going, wow, I'm catching a radio station from Tennessee. And usually be in the same areas, and I learned later about all the like why because of the propagation. It's called, and like it's like you would get like I would get Virginia, Tennessee, uh, and big one is Chicago again. It's probably because that station really blasts at night. Well, actually, then I find out it's they actually lower their AM signal at night, which is kind of weird. How you can't catch that? I can't catch that Chicago AM station at daytime, but I can catch it in the nighttime, no problem. It's that has to do with the believe it or not. I've heard this. If it's I could face plant on this one, being a radio guy, but cars running have spark plugs which cause electrical interference. Now, one car does not make for electrical interference on a grand scale, but when you have lines of cars on highways that are all running and stuck in traffic jams, you got a lot of electrical interference, and that's what only the strong stations are catching in, and people still don't believe that like there will be like on a modern airplane will still have an AM transmitter and receive because AM doesn't have to something doesn't have to be stronger than the other to get through. It can get through on a really faint weak signal, and just tweaking the dial will get you that weaker station coming in between two stations that are like say available. Like if it's a say there's no AM 610 in your area, but there is an AM 600 and AM 620. You could catch an AM 610 somewhere else because the weak like AM will pick in the weak signal, or there could be overlapping. What's ghosting? Two stations could come in together at the same time, and you can hear one simultaneous. So that's FM won't allow that. FM is the stronger signal wins. So I'm pretty sure that would. I'm a radio guy, and I could probably face plant on that one too, but because this is all off the cuff right now, and I'm just trying to make a video to get my station. That's just another that's probably a Freudian slip, as they say, because when I was young, I I used to back in the day had a like one of the first like what you one of the first things that they used to call ghetto blasters. I but sometimes some of them would have play record, and some of them had the ability to had a built-in microphone, and I like this is for personal use. So I would play the song, and then when pause, I would be the DJ, practice that. Oh, I love one of those cassettes. This is hear how I sounded. I just not and what I was saying. Like, wow, I don't know how many cassettes I made, and they're all gone. It's not about it's not about stealing the music off I'm not talking about like the recorded music that I did on the cassette from this is this we're talking 1977, 78, 79 kind of era. Uh, and then you get older, it just stopped because you start realizing if it's not working out, I suck, as you say. Maybe I suck. I couldn't stand the sound of my own voice. That's another thing. It's really hard. Like people don't understand this. It's really hard to get used to the sound of someone's own voice. They just don't like the way it sounds. I don't like. I probably I probably hate the way I sound. I probably cringe every time I hear it, but somehow I just do it. But I just it is that's why it's totally anonymous with all this. Why be so anonymous? Why do you want to? I don't. I just don't like the sound of my own voice. But if no one knows personally who is the voice behind this uh, uh, YouTube channel, then I don't feel I don't feel scared to leave it out there and leave it out in the open, the public. And most people, I think someone said to me something about why don't you go on another different platform and all that. And I said, I, I like I'm a plug and play kind of person. I like over the air TV still. I love over the air TV. I love just basic cable or with the sports package. I I don't feel like working for my entertainment. It's what I mean. I don't feel like working for it. It's just sometimes I just like to bam, just like whatever. Even back in the day, I don't feel like fight what suggestions feel like watching. I just want it to come to me, as I said, the entertainment to come to me instead of me going to the entertainment and looking for it online, and then like it gets into all this like, oh, is it gonna work kind of deal. I could have watched Speaking of which, I could have watched XFL for free if I'd been able to guess sign into Hulu for 6 months trial. It would have been worth it, but I can't not in the states, United States of America. I can't. I can't. I can't. I know I get into like go get one of those DSL boxes, pretending you're served somewhere else. I don't care. I'm not gonna. That's too much work. I'm running out. I don't have the money for that like I used to. Uh, Lucky I'm finally getting around to the word Patreon and all that. I have no interest in that. That demands that you have to do something for all your Patreon suppliers. If it ever came high, like they're like then the like you can't like the person cannot be spontaneous anymore. Uh, to keep Patreon going, they have to do whatever that they're all requesting. I don't know. That's way beyond my abilities to do. Like, oh, page, I don't know, but I just like YouTube because literally, technically, literally, there is someone that could be watching this in another part of the world, like Australia, and having a good laugh at this idiot talking. But at least I'm talking American sports. So maybe they'll have an idea of what American sports is like. I can bring back some history. And if the person is my age, like they really didn't get the experience of NFL football. Like this, here I'll start off right now. Like one of my first teams ever to follow was the San Diego Chargers. Now, before that, I really didn't pick a team. I was just watching football, and this and this goes back to like the first Super Bowl I ever wanted to watch. And I remember going to a mall, like like a standard mall. They were popping up everywhere in the '70s. So if I remember what Super Bowl it was I don't remember the number offhand, but I just know that was one of the first Super Bowls I wanted to watch on my own. Like I really, really wanted to look forward to watching it. But the funniest thing happened on the way to watching that football game on Sunday was I ended up at the local mall, and in the hallway was a giant screen TV. And if my memory's really fuzzy, because at the time I didn't think it was going to be that important, but I still remember that this electronic store displayed this big screen TV outside. TV. It must have sounded funny when I said that. Okay, so this electronics store, it was like one of those small electronic stores, because your mall has all those small little possibilities for stores. So they would have way more electronics than say the big Woolco or the Kmart or something, or if you're in Canada, the Zellers, and so they would definitely, or if you're in another mall like big mall like Toronto, Hudson Bay. Um, they would have like much more equipment inside and specialized too. They're willing to risk like to buy this very expensive high audio equipment because there's going to be people that walk in, and definitely that TV, that big screen TV would have definitely got them inside like they do for cars. Like the only reason why they show off back in the day is they show off the sports car in the showroom is only to draw people in to their build. They were muscle cars back in the day. The only reason why they had the muscle car in the showroom is because it would draw people in. They knew they were never possibly going to buy a muscle car, but they were at least on the lot, and maybe they ended up buying a station wagon that they needed for their family. But they felt good, because say it was the Pontiac. There's the Pontiac Firebird, but here's the I think it was the Safari, the Pontiac Safari station wagon, whatever, back in the day. But at least they were drawn into the place to go. So that big screen TV was on the hallway, purposely left on just to show like, hey, we're here. We're in an electronics store. Come on in. You know what I mean? Check out everything we got. You might find something you need. And if you need a new TV, you don't. Of course, it's just like the muscle car. We know you're not going to buy the big, huge screen TV. That's good. That's for elite customers that have the money at the time. But at least they're drawn in, and they might end up buying a small portable TV for the second, for a bedroom or something like that back in the day. So the point being, all this was that I was watching that screen TV. Now this is a time when the big screen TV was like, is he still there? He's still awake? Yeah, I'm still listening to you. So the big screen TV had three lights: red, yeah, red, green, and blue. Okay, like they were like spotlights. They were shined on a mirror or something like a mirror that was refracted back and on a screen. Like this is really crude, okay? But it was there. It was available, and I remember this is the whole reason why I remember it all is because I'm like, oh, would I like to watch Super Bowl versus Pittsburgh versus Dallas, the Franco Harris days, Bradshaw, and Lynn Starworth, no, sorry, Lynn Swan, and Starworth. If I remember my name, Jack Ham. Like, I was surprised I didn't become a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, especially with Franco Harris. I'm just amazed how I. But okay, no, that was like then, that was like so. Then I guess I forgot all about that. But the next impression was there was a new up and coming team in the AFC, which was the San Diego Chargers. And I used to read. I couldn't afford them, but I used to read like football magazines. I would go to the local like huge grocery store and they had the magazine racks. And no one told me to get a vamoose those days. You know what I mean? I would just kind of go there. They would think that I'm there because your parents are shopping and they left you at the magazine rack and there you are reading magazines. So they're like, at that time, they knew like I couldn't afford the magazine anyways. Especially like pro football was like Sports Illustrated or especially Sports Illustrated. I couldn't really afford that anyways. Or like pro like and actual magazines dedicated to NFL. And I can't remember which one it was, Sporting News or something like that. There was articles like Don Coryell, the coach, and he was called Eric Coryell, and a new approach to like, nah, come on, you're making this up. No, I'm not making this up, Pedro. I call him Pedro. No, I'm not making this up. Uh, It was like this thought, like, oh wow, who's this? What is this all about? Like, and watching San Diego Chargers was easy at the time because they were on at 4 o'clock, being that it was 1 o'clock on Sundays, 1 o'clock out west. So I'd be able to watch the 4 o'clock game, and there's the San Diego Chargers versus the Los Angeles. Sorry, Oakland Raiders. They became Los Angeles Raiders after, and then the whole story. Now they're the Las Vegas Raiders, but at the time they were the Oakland Raiders, and it was still the mystique of the Raiders back then. But they had this like team that was fun to watch. They were, passing was primary. It was unheard of at that time. It was all about the running back. Like it was like, yeah, but then you just stuff the run. Then what do you do? You got no passing attack. But of course, now it's like if your passing attack don't work, well, try the run. If your running attack don't work, try the pass. But back then it was passing attack. San Diego Chargers. Alan Winslow, tight end. You know, was it Jefferson, wide receiver? Uh, the oh yeah, quarterback. Dan Fouts, the quarterback. I'm watching this. I know there's probably people that are only 20. If there's a football fanatic at 20 years old, I know you must be envious that I'm watching the San Diego Chargers versus the Oakland Raiders on a small TV. But to me, it was like my eyes were probably this big, glued, like watching that. They were exciting to watch the San Diego Chargers with the aerial attack as they were back in the day, and it's it's just things change in the world. You move on, and then Jim Kelly came to the. Then it was like, why am I watching the San Diego Chargers? Oh yes, the reason I didn't wasn't a Bills fan. Oh yes, yeah. Why weren't you a Bills fan if it was so close? You're so close to the stadium, like you're with well, okay, good point. And you were old enough to have a car and old enough to drive yourself, and crossing the border wasn't a problem. Okay, I was never a Bills fan growing up. I used to kind of listen to them on the local radio station, what's going on, and channel all the news stations, the local news stations would always would talk about the Bills. Is that they weren't that great, and and they had their moments, of course. The one year I was kind of perplexed, going, "Oh wow!" I think it was the one year that the Bills beat the San Diego Chargers in the playoff game out of nowhere. This is like the Bills were like, it was like I think it was just out of nowhere, a big surprise. Like this is all off the cuff memory. I just remember seeing the Sports Illustrated. Now I can only the only thing I can remember now is seeing the Sports Illustrated cover where I wish I had that one right now. I wish I kind of had that one. If I was in the school library and I didn't steal it. I don't not steal it is amazing. I usually steal anything from the library back in grade 7 and 8 because I was a football nut. But I wish I would have took that. Oh, I did take it. I did take that. I lost it somewhere. I lost it. I lost that Sports Illustrated magazine because I remember there's somebody in this world that can verify it because I was kicked out of French class for being an ass, for being a Weisenheimer all the time. I didn't. I just moved to a new school. We didn't really learn French as a second language as we should. And here I am at this new school, and they did it seriously because they were concentrating as taking second French as a second language for job opportunities. If you were fluent in French, you had a better chance to get a job with the government. Like, which is fine with me. I don't. It was bilingual. It's a bilingual country, so I just I never planned on getting a government bureaucracy job. So I didn't think about that either at the time. I used to just kind of I didn't, like it's just I didn't think about my future then. Like I was one of the few in the classroom that was just didn't think of their future. The only thing I thought was, oh wow, we get to finally play football. Yes, in Canada, it was very rare to have football teams at elementary level, and your first taste of football is grade 9 if you're lucky that they had a junior team, and like I had the physical skills to play on the team, be on the team, but once again my nuttiness uh, overshadowed everything. I, the coaches were trying to get me to be a cornerback or a safety. I didn't want to be a cornerback or a safety. I wanted to be something like I wanted to be like what you call like a defensive end or like like rush the quarterback and that. Uh, I did. And then they tried to get me to be linebacker, and I'm like, I don't want to be linebacker. I just want to run for it. I just want to go running after the quarterback or whatever. I don't know. It was just a weird person I am. If I would have just like, I could have probably started more, played more. I didn't want to be quarterback or safety because I had no idea why I didn't want to play those positions. I don't know what what was I thinking back then. But yes, there's a lot of people out there like if they had, they wish they would have had my physical skills because they would have been playing probably first string corner, first string safety for their team. You know what I mean? They're the local, say your local football team. Like I'm not trying to be an Al Bundy here. I'm just saying, like I really could have probably made first. I really could have made first string like corner safety or something like that. But I just, like I said, I just silly. I was silly my whole life, and that's everything with me. I like that silly tendency of everything in life, and like I don't have children. I guess I wouldn't know how to handle them. I'd probably be on their level the whole time. Like like people say, "Oh, you would have made a great parent. You would have got along with the kids so well, and this and that." Yeah, yeah, but like at what cost? I mean, like you're at what cost? Like not like you gotta grow up. It, trust me, it takes years and years to realize how stupid I was to be so darn silly. I didn't end up being a Jim Carrey, comedian in Hollywood. So what did that get me? Like what did it didn't, you know, like okay, you switch in life, you switch gears to find employment. You got to be serious, but then once established, bungle it. You know what I mean? For anyone that's young, like somehow if you're under the age of 18, you stumble across this video and you're still watching at this time at 50 minutes, and you find yourself acting really silly in class. Trust me, on your time machine, you're gonna pay for all this later on in life. You're just not gonna know how to stop the brakes between like what you need to do to succeed in life versus like, oh, everything will come to me because, oh, there's just go work over here and everything will be fine and all that. But it it's all practice in life, and you don't realize that you know you if you're gonna if you're gonna act silly, you're gonna act silly when everything is good. You know, say the first employment, the full time employment. After a few months, there's something in the brain that'll get you bored for whatever reason and start doing the most silliest things. I'm not one of those prankster types, but just the way like he just the way to just like say the most silliest things, and it's not going to help in the future. So, but what I'm saying, getting back to like the whole TV thing with the that was the time watching the football. It came and went in my life. Like I, for a couple of years, I practically didn't watch that much TV at all, especially in the 2000s. And people would say, "Oh, it's nothing on." It's just because the TV is geared towards younger and younger demographics, and the only thing that stays the same is sports. I mean, there's the football team out there, the NFL football team, and it doesn't matter what age you are, they're not going to change the play on the field based on demographics. It's just going to be a transition. The rules are going to change slowly with the times, and like it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter what age you're in, but today's like especially 98, 99, 2000, I just was finding that like I'm not, and that's like 23, 24, 25 years ago. And I'm finding like they're really not gearing state like programs towards me. And I'm, whoever, like I'm so old that even like when Beverly Hills 90210 was on at the time, as a syndication, I was even too old to watch that. Like I didn't. If I was in, trust me, now if I was in the high school, I would only watch it because they're supposed to be my age, and then you find out later how old Luke Perry was and all that stuff, and now it's laughable. Like wow, he's playing it. The wonder he had to leave the show, whatever he left. Like how much can you take being a certain age pretending to be in high school? Like that's too much. I can't even imagine being 20 years old and trying to play a 18 or 17. It's just so weird. Like some people can get away with it based on how they look and their size. Usually, if you're a small person, you can get away with it because it look like you haven't grown yet. So, but anyways, that's just like, and right now when you look at it, like sports is the same for me now too, where I got my memories, and they're real. All I experienced when it comes to sports, like watching, I'm talking about viewing sports, was real. The Monday Night Footballs back when it was like a thing. Like it was on ABC, and it started at 9 o'clock at night, which is so insane. If only ABC and NBC, CBS would have made a second station in big markets, they could have they could have used those second stations to do whatever they wanted when football season was over. But they could have just showed Monday Night Football on those second stations, in my opinion, though, and kept a regular lineup for across the nation on the parent station like ABC. Like usually it's the channel sevens around, channel twos or would be NBC, and the channel fours would be CBS's, give or take a city, But they could have had a second station in the higher the higher, the 17s, 18s, 19s, and above, where you could have shown Monday Night Football and it wouldn't matter later on when like not everybody was on the same page as it used to be. You could have kept Monday Night Football nine, which they probably would have lowered it to 8 o'clock, anyways. But it wouldn't have been this big transition where Monday Night Football is now on ESPN only because I can't even. That's the one thing I gotta look up after I'm done all this is what was the last ABC Monday Night Football game? Like the last one. Which game was the last one showed on ABC that was over the air and across the USA? Not ESPN. So I can't offhand. I can't remember. I still remember Herschel Walker on that. Was it that Monday Night Football game when Herschel Walker ran out of the state? Wait, it was Herschel Walker or or Bo. I even forget his name because that's not his real name. It's not Bo. Okay, so oh my gosh, I can't remember. Bo, make commercials. Bo knows this. Bo knows that. Uh, so I forgot it was either Herschel Walker or Bo. Oh, I can't remember. I'm stumped right now, but I know what I'm talking about because it's Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson. Okay, well he played two sports at the time. He just stuck to baseball, even though I'm a football nut. He wouldn't have had that really bad injury, but being that multiplayer sport was the whole reason we knew Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson, is that right? Bo knows baseball. Bo knows football. But then the commercial with Wayne Gretzky was on. And Wayne Gretzky goes, "No, oh, it's hockey. Come on, let's face facts here. Hockey is tough to start. I mean, you can't just pick up hockey at 25 plus years age and expect to be able to skate with NHLers. Come on, that's a little too far stretched. I mean, you got to at least start at 15 years old minimal to have a chance to continue on because lacing up those skates and getting not hit, pasted across the board, that takes a lot out of a person. I can't. That's from I never was. I could never from a family. I could never afford afford uh like organized hockey at the time, which today's standards I don't even know how parents do it. But so my skating was just luckily buying skates at the used. I don't think I ever got a new pair of skates until I could afford them myself. But I used to get used pair of skates from the sporting goods store that would have the used section. At least they were like sometimes they were like most of the times, being at a small age size, that it was a trade in, like a select player. So, being that they were on a select team, they would possibly, they would get the best brand, like say the time, like the CCM tax or something like that. So I'm wearing like the CCM tax out on the pond, but I didn't pay retail for them. There's no way I could have bought these CCM tax retail. They were a little worn out. I didn't care. I just laced them up hard, and you just go because they only used them for 1 year. There was enough meat, as they call it, meat on the blade to be able to sharpen them. I probably got them sharpened once or twice if I was lucky. You know what I mean? Did I play on? I probably started played on dull blades some Saturdays afternoons or Sunday afternoon. I'd have to find a way to scrape up some doty do do to go get those sharpened. And then if it was like like right now, ice was still frozen. I literally would decide whether I'd go buy some freaking chips, pop, whatever junk food versus sharpening skates. But then the issue is, if I sharpen the skates, well, okay, the ice is still frozen, but next week it could go. That's all the money I had. I didn't really want to. Didn't. I'll just go out there. I'll go out there with those all blades. I didn't care at the time. It was good for me. Like you gotta imagine, my skating is based on like if they between the periods, like say of a hockey game, um, like and before the Zamboni came on and resurfaced the ice. That was probably the best surface ever. What everybody's complaining, like say they're select players or whatever OHL players or NHL players, junior players. I'm saying OHL. Like, that would be like they come back on. They expect the ice to be resurfaced. For me, that was probably the best surface besides when they flooded the pond. Like, when they flooded the pond, city workers would flood the pond in the morning. So I would go out there, try, after they're gone, after they're gone flooding the pond, I would go out there and that would be the pristine, and I hope I had sharp skates, you know what I mean? I didn't even think about it. Maybe that's why when I slid a lot, tried to stop. It didn't really stop as good as I should. Probably they were rounded out, but who knows? I don't know. What do I know? How long do they keep an edge? There's a fine art to the edge. You later on in life, there's a fine art of the edge of like you don't want them too sharp, as they say, the wrong angle, because then you're just digging into the ice instead of sliding over the ice, gliding. I should say, gliding over the ice surface. So like I don't know. It's just it was just the fun times back then. Uh, I was lucky to get a hockey stick too at the time, and taking slap shots against the fence. I just had that dread and fear that my stick would break. There's no way I'm gonna find another stick. That was another thing. Like when you can't afford hockey sticks too, how in the world do you practice your slap shot? You you I would take oh yes to practice slap shots. I now I remember if somebody was getting rid of their hockey stick because like they were playing street hockey with it and they're playing on non-plastic. They would like we're talking select players at the time and they're my age, they're some my age group but they're select hockey players like for ice hockey, and they would use their stick because they're not going to use them the next year, but they would use their stick for street hockey, and it would get thinner and thinner, and that's when they're about to kind of like throw it out or something. I would say, "Hey, I'll take it." Even I that's the one I would use to practice slap shots with because if it broke, you know, then I was a right handed. I was right handed too, so that was even harder because the majority of people are left handed, like a left shooter. The majority of players are left. I don't know if it's evening out or whatever, but so yeah, like I said, so that was another thing that was against me was and finding a person that was nice enough to give me their hockey stick they were going to throw it anyways. You know what I mean? You know, we are when you're young. Even if you're just going to throw it away, you know, I don't want to give it to that. I don't like that person. I'm not going to give him my hockey stick, even though he's just going to use it to do slap shots on the ice because he can't afford a real, can't afford a real hockey stick. I break my good one while we're playing. Like when I played pickup hockey on the pond, we didn't do slap shots because we're on a pond. You gotta chase it. You're not. We're gonna lose pucks. You know what I mean? You only score a goal. Like we only say we can't shoot it. You can't slide in. You have to put it in. We have to, like in my day, we had to put it in the net with the blade. You know what I mean? The blade had to be at least in the goal crease. You can that way we didn't have goaltenders to. No one got hurt. You know what I mean? Like if you had goaltenders, like someone taking a shot, someone's gonna try to block it. It's gonna be silly. We're gonna end up with injuries. Like no one has equipment. The group of people I knew, we all couldn't afford equipment, but we didn't care. We just went out there. We didn't get intimidated by others. Sure, there were better people, better players out there that came on the pond, select hockey players. They're skating like you. Like you're wondering how in the world are they skating like that? How you know what I mean? It's just they have more confidence. They have way more confidence that they're not gonna like when they do their stops. They have the confidence that they're not gonna like slide into the freaking dirt bank. You know what I'm saying? or or wipe out. You know what I'm saying? I I didn't. Yeah, that's the thing. Like even though it was non-contact, but it was like the play gets to play on the pond against select players, the speed they're going at, remember it's non contact, it was still intimidating because you're gonna get knocked out because my balance is not the same as theirs because I don't have the training. It's not about skill level. It's about the training, like the coaching, the drills they do, like to stop and escape and it's all memory. We call it muscle memory, Like, I don't have it at that age. I don't even know how to skate based on. I had to literally just jump on the ice and go for it. Wobbly knees and all. Until I'll eventually learn how to turn corners on my own and that. Stopping, too. It was all self taught, So, wowzers. 100 and, no, 10113 on this video. Well, anyway, so I guess it's long enough to make a video to start the channel. I rambled on quite a bit. Yeah, sure did. Yeah, sure did. Okay, so I'm gonna push stop, and this will be my starter video, I guess, to get the channel going. Before I think they're all going to be live streams after that.